Hey everyone, I'm Erin and this is Megan, my daughter. You probably recognize her from saying hi a few other times. Today she's going to join me on camera because I am in a sling. Our practice is going to be awesome and we're going to focus on the legs since I only have one arm, but there will be some arm things that I'm going to modify and Megan's going to show you full postures, and that's why I have her with me.
Yes.
So we will get started in just maybe one more minute. I'm going to give everybody a chance to get logged on. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. I have lots of videos on my site, and I also do Zoom classes, which are smaller, so you can check that out if you want to. And you are doing this at your own risk, so listen to your body, be careful, and if anything hurts, you shouldn't have pain in yoga. So if anything hurts, back out. Some discomfort from muscles you've not used before is normal, but not pain. Shooting pains are not good ever. So like I said, I will be modifying and Megan will do full postures. This is going to be a great workout. I will be calling out the full postures with my normal modifications that I give to people, but it's going to be great. Are you ready? We did it Thursday night for a small group and it went really well, so we're going to do it again. We will start in mountain, so feet are hip distance apart, roll the shoulders back, close your eyes if you're comfortable, engage the core muscles, and breathe deeply. Filling your entire lungs and exhaling completely. Setting your intention for the next hour, thinking about why you came today. Anything else that's floating around inside your head, just set it aside on the side of your mat. It will be there when we're finished. For the next hour, let's just focus on what we're doing right now. Meditate. Live purely. Be quiet. Do your work with mastery. Like the moon, come out from behind the clouds. Shine. Opening your eyes, widening your feet. We're going to inhale the arms up, exhale for moonflowers. Shoulder blades come together in the back, inhaling up, exhaling down. Core is engaged. Two more, and then we'll move into sunflowers. So sunflowers coming up, sweeping the arms down in front of you to make a nice big circle. And coming back to mountain. We're going to do a chair flow. So we'll keep the feet hip distance apart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, folding, hinging from the hips. Maybe hanging out here for a minute since the back of the legs is nice and tight, at least on me. Reversing the swan dive and coming into chair. You can keep your arms extended or bring them into prayer hands. Either way, let's flow with the breath. Inhaling up, exhaling, folding. Inhaling, reverse. Exhale, chair. Again, sweeping the arms up, folding, reverse, and chair. Inhaling up, exhaling, folding, reversing the swan dive, and chair. Again, sweeping the arms up, hinging from the hips, reversing the swan dive, and chair. One more time, sweeping the arms up, folding, reversing the swan dive, and chair. Excellent. Now we're going to come into a downward dog, and we're just going to press the heels, pedal the feet to warm up the back of the legs. I'm going to go this way, but you can go that way. Okay. Sweeping the arms up, coming down into a fold, stepping back. Feet are hip distance apart. Hips are pressed towards the sky. Your ears are between your shoulders. And we're doing a heel press, pedaling the feet. Dropping the knees, coming back into child's pose. Child's pose knees can be together, like this, or they can be wide with your toes still together. Arms can be in a few positions as well. And this is a resting pose you can come to at any time during our practice. Arms can be straight out with palms down or thumbs up. Arms can be back by your feet. Whatever is comfortable for you is great. Now coming on up onto all fours, stacking the joints, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're going to come into cat and cow. So inhaling, lifting the head and the chest. Exhaling, rounding the back. Inhaling up. Exhaling, rounding, warming up the spine. Two more times each way. And come back to neutral spine. Next, we're going to come into a spinal balance. Mine will be modified. I'm doing legs only. Megan is going to do full spinal balance. So she's going to raise her right arm and her left foot with flexed toes. And then bring that down. And then left arm, right foot with flexed toes. And bring that down. And we're going to flow with the breath. So we're going to inhale as we lift. Exhale down. Inhale as we lift. Exhale down. And continuing with your own breath. Option to do one limb at a time. One arm. And then the other arm. The other leg. And then switch arms. And then the other leg. This is really hard to do on the left side with no arm there. Keeping that core engaged is key. One more each way. Good, and come back into child's pose. I'm going to pull forward to a kneeling plank. We're going to lower, like Megan. I'm going to let her do this. Lower to crocodile, drop the belly, lift the chest, and then press back into child's pose. And we're going to flow with the breath. So inhaling forward, exhaling lower. Inhaling, drop the belly and lift the chest. And exhaling, child's pose. Now flowing with your own breath, pulling forward, lowering, lifting the chest, and pressing back. Inhaling forward, exhaling lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press back. Pulling forward, lowering, lifting, and pressing back. One more time, warming up the body here. Pulling forward, lowering, lifting the chest, and pressing back. Awesome. And now we're going to flip the toes behind us, come up into downward dog, bringing the feet to the hands. You can walk or jump. I'm not jumping today. Sweeping the arms up and coming back into mountain. We are going to do sun salutations next. I'm going to get a sip of water. Just like I do each week, we start with 2 modified and then we move into full postures. I'm going to stick with modified the whole time. And when we go down into crocodile, that's a little tricky for me to do with one arm, so I may or may not do it. But just keep an eye on Megan. She's going to do full postures when we move into full postures, okay? So, sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back with the right leg onto the knee for a low lunge. Stretching out that hip flexor, bringing the arms down. Left leg comes around. We're sinking back into child's pose. Pulling forward for a plank. Lowering crocodile. Dropping the belly and lifting the chest for baby cobra and pressing back. Right leg comes forward. Low lunge. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reversing the swan dive, and coming into chair. Again, modified on the right side, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the right, low lunge. Bringing the hands down, left leg comes around, sinking back, and then pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, lifting the chest for baby cobra and pressing back. Right leg comes forward. Low lunge. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reversing the swan dive and coming into chair. Switching sides, still modified. Sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Low lunge. Hands come down. Right leg comes around. Child's pose. Pulling forward for plank. Lowering crocodile. Dropping the belly and lifting the chest for baby cobra. Pressing back for child's pose. Left leg comes forward. Low lunge. Hands come to the mat. Feet together, reversing the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Low lunge. Hands come to the mat. Right leg comes around, sinking back, pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, dropping the belly, lifting the chest for baby cobra and pressing back. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reversing the swan dive and chair. Moving into full postures, watch Megan. Sweeping the arms up, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back for the high lunge. Always the option to take a modification if you need it. Hands come to the mat. Left leg comes back for downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile. Flipping the toes for upward dog. Pressing back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, hinging from the hips, stepping back with the right. Bringing the hands down, left leg comes back, we're in downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, dropping the belly, or flipping the toes and pressing up for upward dog. And then pressing back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. High lunge. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reversing the swan dive and coming into chair. Again, sweeping up, folding. Right leg comes back. Hands come down, left leg comes around, we're in downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reverse the swan dive. And chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the right. Hands come down. Left leg comes back, downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reverse the swan dive, and chair. One more on this side, sweeping up, folding. Right leg comes back. Hands come down, left leg comes back for downward dog, pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Right leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reverse the swan dive, and chair. Switching sides, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. High lunge. Hands come to the mat, right leg comes around for downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together, reverse the swan dive, and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come down, right leg comes around for downward dog. Pulling forward for plank, lowering, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding. Left leg comes back. Hands come to the mat. Right leg comes around, sinking back. Pulling forward for plank. Lowering crocodile. Flipping the toes for upward dog. Pressing back for downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Again, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come down, right leg comes around, sinking back. Pulling forward for a plank, lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. One more, sweeping up, folding, stepping back with the left. Hands come down. Right leg comes around, coming into downward dog, pulling forward for a plank. Lowering crocodile, flipping the toes for upward dog, pressing back for downward dog. Left leg comes forward. Hands come to the mat, feet together. Reverse the swan dive and chair. Awesome. Get a drink. Good job, Megan.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to go through a warrior series, and we're going to hold these warriors for a little bit. So, some things to keep in mind. Keep the core engaged the whole time. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. Don't hold your breath when you're in these positions, okay? It's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
I'm going to open a window.
I was thinking the same thing.
Give me 1 second. All right. Here we go. Okay, we're going to start with Warrior 1. And you can modify your arms if you need to. You can watch me. Megan's going to do full postures. And mine are going to be almost full, just without one arm. So we're going to start by bringing our left leg back, planting the heel if you're able. And we want to square the hips as much as possible towards the front. If that heel and ankle is really uncomfortable, just pick the heel up and we'll be in a high crescent. And that's fine. You'll still get the benefits of the pose, okay? Core is engaged. Right leg is bent. We're going to bring the arms up. Shoulder blades are down and back into your back pockets. And we're going to hold. Breathing. We're going to open up for Warrior 2, shifting that back leg just a little bit. Arms come to the shoulder height. Right leg is still bent. Abs are still zipped up. Left leg is still straight with a soft knee. Don't lock that joint out. And we're looking over the right fingers. And then bringing that right arm up for reverse warrior, dropping your left arm to your thigh or your leg, but we're not bearing any weight on that left arm. We're just resting it gently on the back of our leg. Right leg is still bent. Looking up at those top fingers if you're able. Coming back to warrior two, taking that right arm, palm up, laying it on your thigh, and coming across with your left arm over your head like Megan is doing for side angle. Breathing, trying to make a straight angle with your leg, torso, and arm. And then straightening that front leg, bringing that right arm down for triangle. This can be right below your knee, all the way down to the floor, wherever you're comfortable, making sure this left shoulder is open. Left arm goes up, and you look up at those fingers. Now, if you find you're like this, often you just need to slide your hand up an inch or two and roll that shoulder open. Megan's going to slide up to show us. There you go. See the difference?
Yes.
This is triangle pose. We're going to walk the hands to the center of our feet for a wide leg forward fold, dropping the head. Breathing here for just a moment. If it feels good, bring your hands to your ankles and grab them. And then slowly roll up your spine. Tilt those toes out to the edges of your mat and come in to goddess pose. Keeping a nice tall spine, core engaged. And then we're going to shift to come into warrior one on the other side. So left leg is in front and bent. Right heel is planted if you're able. Hips are squared. Arms come up. Core is engaged. Shoulder blades are down and back like they're trying to go into your back pockets. Opening up the hip, pivoting the right foot, arms come to shoulder length. Left leg is still bent. We're looking over the left fingers. Core is engaged. Warrior two. dropping the right arm to the leg, lifting the left up and looking up at those left fingers. No weight is bearing on this right arm. Reverse warrior. Making sure you're breathing. Coming back to warrior two, taking that left arm and placing it on your thigh. Right arm comes over the top for side angle. Straightening that front leg and coming down for triangle. Right arm is up, left arm is down on your leg. Slide it up a little to roll that shoulder open if needed, and looking up at those right fingers. Bringing your hands down to the mat, coming to the center for a wide leg forward fold. Maybe grabbing your ankles. Rolling up the spine slowly. And coming in to goddess. And relax. Awesome. Feel the burn?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Me too. All right. And now we're going to do some sun squats because that sounds pretty. Opening the legs a little wider than the hips. Arms come out to the sides and we're going to just leave them here. And we're going to come down and up. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Yep, like please. Two more. Excellent. All right, we're up to our balance section. So we're going to do two balance poses today. The first is standing pigeon, and the second will be warrior three. So for pigeon, we're going to ground that left foot, spread the toes, engage your core muscles, quads, hamstrings, abdomen, all of it, glutes. And then inhale, take a deep breath. lifting that right foot, flexing the toes, coming across the top of the knee, not on the knee, above, and coming down into a seated chair here, hands in prayer by your chest at heart center. Breathing. Just like I say every week, if you need to do this against the wall, put your tailbone right against the wall. Work on building the strength first, and then work on the balance. And relax. Awesome. And if you wobble out, just come right back in. That was me last week. I wobbled out of everything. It's probably because I was injured and I wasn't wrapped and I wasn't acknowledging that it was actually an injury.
True.
Okay. Ground that right foot, spread the toes. Get yourself nice and centered. Engage all those muscles that you're needing for balance. Flex the left toes, come across and down. And relax. Awesome. All right, next is Warrior 3. So if you've not ever done this, I definitely suggest using a wall or a chair in front of you. If you have done it, good. You know what's coming up, right? Okay, there are 3 positions for the arms. Before we get into it, they are out front. So they would be next to your ears. They can be back like an airplane or on your hips. Okay, so whichever is more comfortable for you is what you can do with your arms. Warrior 3, we're going to start in a high lunge. I have my left leg forward right now. Engage those core muscles. You're going to need them. Engage the thighs and the glutes. On an inhale to prepare, and exhale, hinge forward. If you can't get your leg all the way level and you are like this, that's okay. And relax. Nice try, Megan.
Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to do the other side. So right foot forward, left foot back. Let's start in a high lunge. Inhale and exhale forward. If you are parallel with the floor, your eyes are looking down. Basically, you want to keep your spine in alignment. So if you're more like this, your gaze is going to be more like this. You want to keep your neck straight with your spine. And relax. Awesome. Nice job.
Thanks.
That was a good one. All right, we're going to move down to the floor for our cool down time after a sip. All right, my mat wiggled.
Oh.
Okay, so coming down to the floor, we're going to start with boat. And there's lots of options for boat depending on where you are, depending on if you're injured, or if, however you feel. So you can start with your hands behind your legs and just lift those legs up. You can extend the legs out a little bit. Let go if you're able. If you're not, that's okay. And if all of that is too much and you need to keep your feet down and just lean back, that's still a really good work in the core. So wherever you are is fine. Just remember to breathe. And relax. Awesome. Hug those knees. Now we're going to come into table, and I'm going to stay in table, and Megan is going to come into incline plane when I cue it. Incline plane is a little bit more challenging. You don't have to do it. It's just an option to advance your practice today if you feel like that. So you want your feet hip distance apart, your hands behind you under your shoulders, and you're going to press up into a table. You okay?
Yeah,
Bless you. Ooh, that scared me.
Sorry.
Option for incline plane, extending those feet in front of you. And relax. All right. Next is forward fold. So getting on your sits bones, getting all the other stuff out of the way. And we're going to keep a straight back here. Hinge forward with a straight spine as far as you're able. Shoulders are back. So pull your hand, there you go. Breathing. Using a strap here is good. I just don't have one handy right now. And then rounding the spine, dropping the head, grabbing those feet if you're able. Slowly rolling up. We're going to do a seated spinal twist. So lifting the knee on the left leg, propping it over the right, and then taking your right arm and hugging that knee, looking over your left shoulder, planting your left hand behind you, and giving a little twist. And coming back to center. Bringing those legs back out in front of you, lifting the right, putting it over the left, hugging your right knee with your left arm, taking your right hand, planting it behind you, and looking over your shoulder. And coming back to center. Now we're going to come into butterfly. So the soles of your feet are coming together. You can pull those feet as close to your body as you are able. If you have any hip tenderness or hip injuries, arthritis, anything like that, keep them further out to protect them, okay? So we're going to hold onto the ankles And we're going to keep a straight spine. Press into your legs with your elbows if it feels good. And then we're going to hinge forward with a straight back first. And then round the back, drop the head. Come on up. And we'll lie down. Okay?
Yeah. Which way do you want me to face?
That's fine, you're good.
Okay.
We're going to bring the knees to the chest and we're going to start leg darts. So for leg darts, you can be flat like this, or you can lift your shoulders and your head off of the mat. One leg comes out straight, the other you hug with both hands if you have the use of both hands. And switch. 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 Continue with your own breath. Don't forget to breathe. I hate this popping.
I hear it. Oh my gosh.
One more each way. And then hug the knees. Placing both feet down on the mat, hip distance apart. Place your hands by your sides. And we're going to inhale the hips up. Exhale down for bridge flow. Inhale up. Exhale down. Continuing with your own breath. One more. And clasp your hands behind your head. Lift those shoulders off the mat. We're going to come into bicycle. So opposite elbow to opposite knee. Remembering to breathe. Two more. And hug your knees. We'll do one more bridge flow. Feet down, hip distance apart, arms at your sides. Inhaling up, exhaling down. 2 more. And prepare for final relaxation. Legs can be extended out. You can put your legs up the wall if you have a wall available. Feet can be wide with knees into each other. However you're comfortable. You can even lie down on your side if that's more comfortable for you. Close your eyes if it feels good, or look up at the ceiling, or cast your eyes down to your nose so you can get into a little bit of a meditative state. Taking nice deep breaths, thinking about the work you just did on your body, your mind, and your soul. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which comes to me as a seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which comes to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Now we're going to do a body scan and release all of the tension in different parts of our body. So starting with the toes, curl the toes, flex them, hold, and release. Contract the muscles of the calves, hold, and release. Engage the quads and the hamstrings. Hold and release. Engage the glutes and release. Engage your core muscles across your abdomen. Remembering to breathe and release. Engage your chest muscles. And release. Engage your arms. Flex your biceps and just all the muscles you can. Make them nice and tight. And release. Make fists with your hands. Clench those fists really tight. And release. Engage the jaw muscles in your face. Clench your jaw. Hold it. And release. And now bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin to chest. Now engage all of those muscles, your entire body. Contract everything at once. And release. Open your eyes. Roll to your right side. Support yourself into a seated position. We'll inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. I hope I see you soon. Feel free to sign or comment however you do that on YouTube and let me know you were here. I'd love to hear that people were here. Or on my Facebook page, you can message me. Take care.